Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. I can't believe it. I mean, we all suspected it might happen. I didn't think it would actually happen. I thought there's no way you're going to get Biden to pull out. But, you know, I'm at the gym. I'm still literally wearing my my gym clothes. And, you know, I get the notification that he's pulled out of the race. I was like, wow. I mean, I'm really, really surprised by that. I thought he would go down fighting. I thought he would, you know, go down to the wire. He would wait until the election in November. And if he lost, he would obviously just, you know, relinquish the presidency. I guess the pressure on him from the powers that be in the Democratic Party were just too much to handle. He could not deal with the pressure. He could not fight back against it. I mean, there were reports that Pelosi had put him under a lot of pressure. There were reports that Barack Obama yesterday basically told him, Joe, you got to hang up the gloves, it's over. Those are two very, very heavy hitters. We heard that, you know, one of the biggest fundraisers, one of the biggest donators to the Democratic Party pulled out. So money talks, but, you know, I've also heard recently that he's endorsed Kamala Harris, you know, to be his replacement. I just don't think she hasn't got the pull. She hasn't got the pull. If I was the Democrats, I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an independent. I'd probably try and get him in. I think he's the only one, him with maybe Michelle Obama as his vice president. I'm just trying to think. Those are the only two people I think that could put up a fight against Trump. But yeah, let's hear what one of the biggest news outlets has to say.
Welcome back. Breaking news here on Sky News coming into us from the United States. And President Joe Biden says he is stepping down from the US presidential election campaign. He will not run in the US election 2024. We have a statement here coming into us at Sky News. I'll read that to you now. It starts, July 21st, 2024. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors and expanding affordable healthcare to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this would have come or been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. He goes on, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term.
You know what? Fair play to Joe Biden, because he said that if it came down to, you know, the future of the party, of the Democratic Party, if he wasn't going to be a good representative for them in the election, he said he would step down. He said he would do it, and now he's doing it. Yeah, he might have been pushed. Who knows what happened behind the scenes? But there are plenty of politicians who would have clung onto that thing. You would have had to pry their hands away from it with a clamp or something like that. So fair play to him for standing aside, you know, and not just dragging the whole country through an election where he clearly wasn't at the top of his game anymore. I mean, he's 81. It's to be expected. It's clear as day he didn't have it in him anymore.
I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me re-elected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have. There is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. Breaking news tonight here on Sky News. President Joe Biden has withdrawn his bid to become the next president of the United States.
Crazy, crazy day. Let's find... Here we go. So Biden says he will stand down and endorses Kamala Harris. So Joe Biden has announced that he will stand down from the US presidential race. He's endorsed Kamala Harris, the vice president, as his replacement. I honestly think, I mean, there must have been a lot of conversations here prior to this announcement. I'm sure this has been going on for a long time, but probably reached a new level after the first debate. I just don't think Kamala really is that really the best they can do? I'm sure she probably put her foot down and said, look, if it's not you, Joe, it's going to be me. She was the vice president, so I guess de facto she should be his replacement. But in terms of popularity, I just don't think she is the best they can do. So it says here, in a phone call with CNN minutes after Biden announced his exit from the 2024 race, former President Trump responded, he goes down as the single worst president by far in the history. Oh, come on. Biden, like, I'm not a statistics expert, but I'm pretty sure, like, Biden has quite high metrics in terms of job creation, in terms of business prosperity. I'm pretty sure Biden's overseen quite good revenue growth in terms of business tax and things like that. Trump added that he believes Miss Harris will be easier to defeat than Joe Biden. I have to agree with Trump there. I think this is just, if it really is Biden versus, Trump versus Harris, I'd bet the house on Trump. Crazy, crazy day. The next week or two is just going to be very, very eventful. It's going to, because obviously the campaign behind Harris has now got to go into overdrive. They've got to throw a lot of money at her to try and make her seem the rational choice. But from what I've seen, Trump has all the momentum, I don't think Kamala really has that popularity, you know. She just doesn't seem... I think the plan was probably going to be Biden just to win, retain the presidency, and then relinquish it to Kamala, you know, in like a year or so. But it's clear Biden, man, when he was coming down from the airplane after, you know, it got announced that he had COVID, it was just, he looked frail. He looked really old. Nothing wrong with being old and frail, obviously, but to be the president of the, you know, world-leading country in terms of economy and military, I just don't think it was right. And, you know, like I said earlier in the video, fair play to him for standing down at this point. It must have been probably the toughest decision of his life. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.